I guess to everyone, it's Ada from Poison Rock, and I couldn't be much happier to welcome here Kati Rán, my moon sister, and amazing talented. I don't want to say further artist. Artist. How are you, Kati?
Yeah, thank you for such a nice welcome. It's so good to see you again and be back at Poison Rock.
Yeah,
So I'm good. It's a nice time at the moment, and
and
we
then
are, of course, talking a lot about the new album that's coming to a lot of people, but also it's just
yeah,
a really nice time to be at the beginning of spring. I really feel winter
yeah.
should be left behind. So yeah,
Leaving the dark night behind. Yeah,
exactly.
we
Yeah,
need a little bit of light. And I mean,
yeah. This is
this
a
is
good year. Mm.
our first interview. We're actually alone. There's no one
Yes.
else guest. There's no one else surrounding some studio. So it's just me and you. That's the best. We can talk better without boundaries. I mean, I wait. I saw. I don't know. For many people, don't maybe don't know. They don't know that. But I saw all. Let's say the behind all this process of making this album, and I know you, and I can say for sure that you worked such a lot, and you did a lot of research. You traveled a
Yeah.
lot, and there's so
Yes.
much of Kathy life and Kathy soul. Maybe then I don't know. Not I don't find any other album and works around here that has so much soul.
Oh,
And
that's beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah, it has a lot of soul, but not the genre, of course, of music, but like
no,
the soul of
I mean
well, I would hope to say something that captures a lot of experiences that women
right,
experience over time,
exactly.
which is sort of timeless. But of course, the album is rooted in Nordic mythology and literature and little tidbits of archaeology.
That's
And
the beauty of
so
it.
the framework of the album is, of course, based on this ocean goddess Ran and her 9 daughters. And for
Yeah.
me, researching the material, I found, it's so good to maybe tie it in also with a lot of parts of the feminine inner world. Like the ocean is, of course, a body of water, and water
Exactly.
resembles emotion.
Yeah,
So I thought, yeah, that can be ranging from
yeah.
uh really calm and beautiful
That I
and
mean,
all
because that's how.
encompassing.
Yeah, that's how the
Yeah,
start. The when the listener will listen the album, there will be like this opening track, and already they will it would feels like don't know, transported by the water, like you're floating, or like you're going with your feet into the water, and
yeah,
already gives this calmness. You're known to be such good to do, meditation technique and being calming. Let's not forget about your Nordic meditation, which is helpful to everyone all the time. But this gives this element of water that you chose. It was, I mean, for me, the best choice you could do because it's my water. It's my sign element, so it's the best you could choose.
oh, yeah, and there's so many more elements, right? But still, water, I think, I don't know if I chose it or it chose me, but that's the whole like tie with my artist name, Kati Rán. But on the other hand, yeah, so
Yes.
connecting that element and connecting that folklore and history to the emotional states,
Yeah.
and changes in nature that we see, like sea can be so many, like the sea can be in so many shapes. It can also be
Yeah. Make color.
incredibly dangerous. Like nature wasn't necessarily something very pretty. It was also something to conquer and to keep in check, to keep under control, especially in the past. They were kind of very much afraid of it. And you see that also in ritual folklore, that they were really negotiating with nature spirits, or like not wanting to upset them or trespass, or yeah, they really revert these kind of forces because they realize natural forces are a lot more powerful than humanity. Like we all know that feeling, like when thunder strikes or when you have this
Yeah.
massive rumbling in the sky, right? You feel
Yeah.
instantly, oh, this is bigger than me.
Yeah.
This is so
Exactly.
powerful.
Yeah.
And so I love that feeling personally. Like nothing excites me more than
A
hearing the
thunderstorm.
rumbling thunder. or like, you know, like, but yeah, it is that
But
reminder in a way. And so
yeah,
our emotions can also
yeah,
become
related.
overwhelmed
Yeah,
or something we need to
exactly.
learn to navigate, like a ship
Yeah,
in the sea.
in the sea. But
Yeah.
it's well like emotion could be as well related a lot, to the small bonfire when you're feeling like warmth and calm. So, like you said, something really is deep and is true, and it made you think that make you think that if you going like really like when we have this inner storm, because we have this inner storm going through our tough periods, and maybe we feel shake like a tornado, we feel like really overwhelmed, like you were saying before, a
Mhm.
thunderstorm, and then we need to release it to be calm as a waves, just, or even
Yeah,
the self as these huge waves. So that's,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, it is very natural to have these different states in nature and in ourselves, and it does need release because in the end, I think our nature is also to become always back in equilibrium, in harmony, in balance, restored in a
yeah,
way.
yeah,
It does mean sometimes that something of tension needs to be released. And so I've through the songs on Saula, the album title, it's Old
exactly.
Norse for sea and soul.
That
That
is
is that's something that
makes,
uh, well, actually during the creating over the last years became more evident. Like it's more later into the process of the album creation and the songs, when me and my producer were looking at it also as a whole, like wow, that's actually like the whole shape of it. It starts to feel like, okay, what do we have here actually? And this is a personal journey, but also like this mythological journey, and it is about giving room to all these different emotions and states,
yeah,
it through these sea nine daughters. And
yeah, that
yeah,
was really
that's
interesting to
also
read.
when the name that's when the name sort of come to me as well. It was such a beautiful coming together where suddenly everything made sense. But I needed to zoom out a little bit more to in the process and be like more further to the completion of the
Yeah,
album to be able to realize what it actually had been. And that's why I also connected it to the topic of soul retrieval.
yeah,
Soul
yeah,
retrieval is a word that comes actually from indigenous shamanistic practices, but
that's
it's a
always
word,
part of your
yeah,
music. Yeah,
yeah, that's a word that is sort of connected to the idea of that certain pieces of yourself can be
yeah,
splintered off or
yeah,
attached to something else, where it's better to return back to being whole yourself and to
yeah,
retrieve these parts back of yourself. Some people also compare this to lost pieces in your childhood, or like
yeah.
where your
When you
child
have, for example, childhood trauma and you
has.
lost piece of yourself. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. And that
yeah,
can also be in the form of memory, but it can also be in the form of like just like pieces of yourself,
yeah, yeah. That's
or like,
important.
or
Yeah,
yeah, no matter no matter how you approach it, that's kind of like a deep psychological topic. But I also realized that each song was sort of like having a was like a piece of the missing chain
that,
to do that, to
yeah,
sort of reach that completion
but
again. Or
yeah.
yeah,
So
back
you could
to
say, like in your own experience, of course, that Sola could be like all a journey itself through from the beginning, so the first opening track to the last one, like really a journey, or is more like just like a path, because a journey
uh,
goes from the beginning.
yeah, this the song order in that sense has
Okay,
been deliberately chosen. So there, I would say it's possible to find like a bigger line, but I think that's more like uh kind of like a personal interpretation of songs, and I would like these songs to be open to interpretation for everyone, and to
that's
be also more clicking for not just for me or my story, but to
yes,
have like more a general story uh of what we can experience when we go
yeah,
out in the world and encounter a lot of these
yeah,
lessons in life and sort of have to deal with that, and how we return back to ourselves in the end. So I think that's the overall arc of Saula.
because
And I thought it was also very nice to open it and close the album with the same instrument.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. That has this kind of ending of the same, let's say,
Yeah,
I like as the same soul and spirit and essence, let's say.
yeah.
Yeah,
Also with notion and recognition that everything is cyclical. Like
yeah,
this could be just 24 hours. This could be 1 year and a day. This could be
1 minute.
one lifetime. This, but everything is cyclical. So also the end is again the beginning, etc.
Yeah,
So yeah, I wanted to have that round feeling to the album, but it is, I would say, I was talking to a friend with mine about this. It is a little bit like going on a journey yourself, and having to navigate. So and finding these treasures along the way, these moments of aha, or like
yeah. This is hard to say. Yeah, I
yeah, and that's a little bit comparable to, I don't know if you heard about Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. It is a
think
cycle where we set out into the world, we have an intention for something, and along the way we encounter certain events,
event.
like
Yeah,
first and obstacles and breakthrough moments in
life. Yeah,
order to reach the next stage and sort of like, yeah, it's a spiraling thing, it's
yeah.
cyclical. But I think that,
That
yeah, I think that at least for me during the creation of SÁLA has been personally the case, and quite literally sometimes, like really
it's
reaching obstacles with for example business partners and thinking, oh, like now I've got it, but now
well,
suddenly the role changes, and oh, suddenly there's something new to
so yeah,
conquer, and then meeting these key figures along the way,
because
really,
there
who
are amazing guests in your
new
album.
goals. And so I would say it's also a little bit about self mythologizing, or
Yeah,
like, yeah, the mythologizing of your own
okay.
uh
Ju-
life.
yeah,
And I think everyone has that
yeah,
happening in their life. I think everyone lives in their own shaped mythology
indeed.
and sort of is the hero of their own life.
You
And it's
create your own.
beautiful if you
The,
start to see these points in your life and see it all made sense.
yeah,
Along the journey, it didn't feel like things sometimes made sense, or they
yeah.
were disappointing or aggravating. But later on, it
When
suddenly
you look at back, yeah,
really seems to be part of the whole
every,
story, and
yeah,
had been like that, just like that.
that moment,
And
yeah,
that's
because
where we reach also acceptance. So it's, yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing. And as I said, it's cyclical. So it's not like with SÁLA the album is done, the journey is done. Now a new one starts, a new cycle starts.
so now
And
for you it's open a new cycle because there was the solar of the beginning of the, let's say, the processing of creating from the lyrics to
yes.
the music to the creation or even of the smallest sound is just a
Mm.
cycle, and then you ended your own cycle, and now there is the new cycle of Kati. So that's something
For
that
me as an artist, yes, but also for everyone else.
yeah,
Like
it's
we
can be
really have these phases in our
maybe
life.
you know that
Yeah.
your music is always super helpful to me. So maybe now it's a new cycle for me. It already started, but it's maybe a new cycle is beginning as well for me. Like I think for anyone, but and
Yeah.
maybe someone is listening. This will listen this out so loud to, let's say, to the middle, for example, of their own journey cycle, and
Yeah.
they would realize it through it and say, "I am the middle. I'm noticing." And so the
Yeah.
obstacle and or something that I'm, let's say, saw and faced even 1 hour ago or 1 month ago. So that was
Yeah.
meant to be.
Yes, exactly. It's
As
very often
yeah,
we need that higher bird's eye view or a little bit distance of the situation to see why it
so
had to go exactly like
yeah,
that.
and
And
why that
so,
happened.
yeah,
And I
and of course we, at the same time, I feel it's important when we come back to this topic of emotions in the sea and these big waves,
yeah,
that we are allowed to express them. Like I
yeah,
think
yeah,
yeah, I think it's important. So it's not necessarily what the whole album is about, but it is a little bit attached to this album to really give room to your emotions. And so there are like pieces in there where I think I thought this is kind of strange. It's like now I'm like sort of really angrily shouting this like
Your own.
femme rap Norse battle thing, you know, like I'm really
Unique.
spitting my
Yeah,
grievance on something, you know, or like in another song, that was really nice to experiment with different vocal techniques too, is to really give room to the emotion where you're saddened. And so it's okay if the voice breaks, you know, just like let them be and speak your wisdom and your emotions, because that's so much part of processing things. And
because
we are allowed to be, you know. And
exactly, because we don't have only, I think sometimes people underestimate the power of chanting, or even putting, you just sound like the Om, for example, of the Buddhism movement, just only for that, for example. And they try to, of course, we are free to express ourselves how we want throughout music. But I think when you express yourself throughout, even if you can't chant with the chants or with sound,
absolutely,
leaves, right? You throw all your chakras, everything. It goes from the chakra to the crown chakra. You like it. Because a lot the throat chakra is one of the most stocked chakra in the world, because we can't.
And especially for the ladies, but I think we're learning to speak up. And we see that trends going on also through music. I think a lot of women dare to take up more space now, and I think that's a good thing. But it's also, it's really like, if what I say in a lot of interviews, or when I talk to people, like, it really doesn't matter. This is like not about your vocal performance, or like if you are in perfect pitch when it comes to when you need to release something, because then singing, it is a medicine. It is, you know, it is being able to express yourself through your voice is so in itself. And there, I think it's really important also that we are learning to let go sometimes, even of control, of shame, of idea that, oh, now this has to be like super perfect, because
never.
I think people more crave the authenticity.
Now, things are shifting.
And especially if you use this practice for yourself, you know, working with singing. Of course, it's nice if you're singing in full.
For that you have the beauty of the listen.
If you're using it as a technique for healing and for taking up more space, it is one of the most vital things we can do, is to turn off sort of inner critic, and to say, no, I am just who I am. That's enough. I'm just being. That's my purpose here at first place.
More than enough. Yes.
You know, like animals, they don't consider what their purpose is in life. Their being is their purpose in life. So it's more learning about just being first, and then maybe secondary, you might have some insight falling into like, okay, what like, I'm here to do.
Let's say, your wilder being. So
I would say so. At least this has been my sort of conclusions throughout the years, right? Trying to work with my voice as well. There were so many, I still feel like this sometimes, you know, but there were so many moments where I was like overly critical about if the singing technique was correct, or if, you know,
your voice is perfect. Your voice is perfect. Your voice is a female.
That's part of the lesson. It's sort of really coming into peace with your being, and also with how your voice sounds. So it doesn't sound like maybe exactly someone else's, or like people you admire. And I think that's also something that I'm trying to pass on to other artists as well, if people are listening who are also creative, is it's really like you can really learn from sort of mimicking vocal techniques from other artists. But at the same time, I think the true quest is about learning to find your own, and to really express your soul. And that means your sound is unique to you, and that can be appreciated and beautiful. And so that's, it's all these little lessons through life, right? I'm not trying to be preaching. I'm trying to just share how I've seen it, and that's what I pass on. Like, don't try to sound like someone else. Be you, because you are unique in the world, and
Yeah,
Nobody can be you and sound like you.
completely. It,
And to let
any,
go of inner critic also is
yeah,
part of that process to allow to be. And
exactly.
so yeah, that's where
With
we
that,
arrive.
yeah,
That's all in the end. That's just
that's
being.
that's
Yeah.
kind of a let's say incorporating, and that the essence is like be you in your own journey, be you,
Yes.
how you let go your own thing, your own
Yeah.
emotion, your own past,
Yeah.
your own present, whatever you want to let go. And that's, I think, something that you can do in every type of as well of art, music, painting, writing,
Yes.
yelling. We can go in the mountains and yell on top of the mountains. That's we can do that as well.
Yeah.
Helpful.
Yeah.
But one thing that I really found to mean this album, Saula, there are a lot of amazing musicians that you collaborate with. It's not only, I mean, of course, it's your soul there, but there's as well a bit of essence and soul of other people involved in it. And I like how you, because, you know, sometimes a musician or artist can say, that's my album. Maybe one piece of that, like you, you share your art, you
It's
share
community.
music.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
is. It is also a body of community, and
yeah,
the people that have contributed with their talent or building voices for like big
yeah,
female choirs, they were of course asked, and
yeah,
well, specifically asked, like I had in mind, really felt into myself, like who is good for this and who can I ask, like that had to make
yeah,
sense in the first
yeah.
place
You can
for
choose
there.
the
And
first person. You have to have
yeah,
kind of a vibe of energy with that person that you're gonna choose.
exactly, and even here I feel like a lot of things just magically made sense, like to ask, like the things just really fitted together. And
You
I'm
can,
I'm very thankful for them to have been part of this. And also it's also the recognition, like it's good if you could do a lot on your own and self-produce
yeah,
and record so many instruments, but on the other hand, it's also about calling back and forth. It's also about
exactly.
music is also a meeting point between people. It's what connects
Yeah,
us.
it's a,
And
yeah,
so making
exactly.
songs together, singing songs together, being in a choir together, we really amplify the energy of the song that way,
Yeah,
and give it more collective
yeah, it
sort
is.
of power.
Yeah,
If it's
because
like
you can feel it.
plugging in to
No,
the
because
web,
you can feel it.
like
You can feel it.
it really is like that.
So you
And
like, because like you're mentioning, of course there are male voices, and you can hear like a presence of a as well, like I must say the masculine energy, for example. But you can hear as well these all these voices of women mixed up together. You can hear a deep feminine energy. We can switch to the dark side of the feminine energy to the sacred feminine energy. So you have all these, but balanced. That's what I like,
yeah,
because you can create, you know how to balance them, and you can create that balance. So let's say it's not only, for women, maybe because someone would think, oh, maybe it is a journey for women. No, it's a journey for
it's
all
for
you.
all.
It's
Yeah,
for,
and we also have quite a lot of masculine energy on the album, actually, with Val, with Yanni Peu, with Mitch Harris, with Geldir, who does focus on one song as well. So I mean, we have the male energy
yeah,
definitely, because that's also the balance of nature. We need each other,
exactly.
and
Like I said,
like
you
smart.
have to
Yeah,
balance that. Yeah,
yeah.
because I
So
remember. Yeah,
yeah, it's really kind of beautiful and special for me to collaborate with people, and I keep
that's
doing that as well. I mean, this is something
you
I
always.
feel more excited about, is
Yeah, that shows
not
that
slaving away alone in your
Mm.
studio, but to
I,
actually make
I
connection through music. Yeah.
I know you. So I saw all this process, and since the first interview back then, I don't remember when, and that we were talking about your music in general. But you always have been someone that always like wanted to share your music with other people, wanted to make a community. But even when we start to talk years ago, the beginning, of your album journey, when you're thinking,
Yeah.
I'm thinking to do an album, and that's I don't know, making a trip in Iceland and go. So throughout your journey, you met a lot of souls, and a lot of people were involved, and throughout research. So there's a lot of energies, and of
Yes.
course, align with yours mainly, because that's how you create your own process, your own SÁLA. But then as well, those energy, which are positive energy, let's say the balanced energy, can be felt from us. And I can say, me for sure, for anyone that doesn't know, I can witness. I was there where Kati was writing all. I saw the process really well, and it was a beautiful process, a soft process, if I can say that, because it you dive really too deep into those emotions in your album. And something that people as well have to keep in mind, there is happiness, there are a lot of emotions, journey, like a journey. You have the sun, you have the storms, you have, so there are all these emotions of you. And you kind of showed yourself as a vulnerable as well human being in this album.
Yeah, I do think that's I think that's where we connect most with our audience, when also the recordings are authentic moments, like where we don't polish everything and really feel something true when we are creating it.
Exactly.
And on the whole spectrum of things, like it's not just sadness or anger, it's a lot of key parts of life.
Yes.
We have death energy, we have life energy, we have
transformation energy. Yes.
We have all these releases and techniques sort of contained in this album.
Exactly.
And I think it's also good to break open, to talk about like these different states of mind and techniques and tools that we can use actually to create art,
well.
and to be really to really go for it in a way. And that means also letting go of the inner critic, to follow that intuition and to say, I really want to do this. I really want to record this as authentic as I can. I want to embody this sear right now. I embody this cider seed thing right now. I want to embody the spitting, fleeting vibe. We have to embody it and fully sort of become it. Some people might call it channeling. I think it's more like about finding also these parts of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I like I mentioned earlier, really earlier, I saw you really throughout all this journey, and I know that you traveled throughout a beautiful country like Iceland or Finland. That was a part of your as well way of process and doing the album. So, I mean, was it like a part of a journey?
Yeah, it was part of a journey. Like I think 2 songs are taken onto this album that were created in Denmark with Christopher Yule from Heilung. And that sort of set the shape and the soundscape of the next album journey, which is SÁLA. And so I've seen there, of course, and met people from Denmark. I went there for many years, actually prior, every year to see them as friends. But I also traveled through Norway. I traveled through Iceland, and I was also part of being in Finland for close to 2 months, like 1.5 months, to do like proper studio recordings with Jani Peu together for this album, where we worked each day to record the final vocals. And so these countries definitely also influenced the whole process of making this album. And also everyone I met there, whether it was for business or music creation or just like a conversation, everyone has been sort of part in a way of making SÁLA, to really dive into these Nordic countries, to travel them, because people, to get to know the soil in a way.
Like
so it's been beautiful.
Because the journey that you were talking about throughout SÁLA, this journey, you do it you actually did it by yourself, traveling throughout all this country and taking because like of course you have as well in your music the Nordic component. So we can say that you still keep it traveling throughout this country. So
exactly, all of Scandinavia and Finland, because they don't consider themselves part of Scandinavia. It's been I think it's important to make the connection with the land itself, and to also make field recordings from there. But also, for example, I worked with Icelandic band called Umra and Samla. They also do this. It's 4 ladies from Iceland. They do these amazing Icelandic folkloric live sets, but they are really good singers. And so, especially if you work with material from that country, I think it's so important to have,
Yes.
the connection to the land and to the natives, and to actually have
That's
sort of
important
their
rituals. Yeah.
energy coming through, and not to sort of bypass that as, of course, a Dutch artist, to say, okay, I'm going to perform in Icelandic, why not? And then not touch base with the country, both physically by being on the soil, but also
Yeah.
collaboratively. And that's why when we mentioned like, oh, there's a lot of people on this album who actually have contributed, that's true, because it's also important to make that connection.
Yeah.
So of course, if I have piece in their language and from their heritage, it's
Wow.
most beautiful to sing together,
Yeah,
where that
because it's
song
sharing
yeah,
your own culture as
yeah,
well, and their own culture. It's like of a
yes,
connection of a fusion of them, and as well,
exactly,
that's a beautiful thing. That really humble that you did is like paying homage to them, because you could say, well, I'm just gonna sing in Icelandic, that's it. But
yeah.
you wanted to like respect them. That's the beauty of it.
It's a form of honor and respect,
Yeah.
and it's a form of community thinking. Like, we're all part of this web, and so it's all like you could definitely see the web unfolding. So we have those people there that came also through traveling there. Those connections were built in
Yeah.
person. So it's just a beautiful thing, and that's why, yeah, I think Saula itself is
It's
just
an
a
incredible journey.
exploration of all of
Yeah,
those
because of
happening.
I mean, if shouldn't write a page, like in the booklet of the thanks, like thanks to
Yeah.
the. I think you're gonna need a empire. It's really
Yeah.
purpose. Write all the people to thank you for
Yeah,
that.
it actually is. It will have kind of a lengthy liner note credit list,
Yeah,
but
credit.
that's also beautiful to summarize and to see,
Yeah,
okay, there's a lot of processing there. There's a lot of years put into this, and a lot of people have contributed in one form or the other. Same with Borgar Magnussen, who gave me the clue to find
yeah,
the stone marimba person again. And so, yeah, they all have been part of the journey. And
yeah,
so I think it's also an album that we, as a community, sort of can share and
yeah,
celebrate way,
yeah,
or because it's really not just about me. I try to make these songs, even though there's like personal catharsis happening, I try to make them for everyone, and
yeah. That's
best of my ability with everyone included,
yeah.
like, for example, the Icelandic singers, when it comes to their language or folklore.
The sharing,
So
the
yeah,
sharing
yeah,
part that is beautiful about you as a human being as well, like we were talked before. Because if of course any musician, when they
mm,
wrote an album, they, like I said, they wrote the song as for the like that, how they experience, and but as well when the listener listen the song is how the listener, let's say, see and feel the music. So sometimes we might help a little bit of the guidelines for the musician itself, saying, look, this is a journey. Feel
yeah,
it and perceive it. It's not about Kati Rán life, deep, like, like the first year of childhood. It's about your experiences, but it's a transmuted in
yes.
a bigger and infinite
Exactly.
web.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we are all part of this bigger Nordic cosmos on this album, and we
Yeah.
all have our role to play in it, sort of.
And
So
yeah, and having this
that's
musician, that's what you show. All these musician, and I don't think only musician, people, historian, archaeologists, everyone involved in
yes,
this journey is a
exactly.
part of
Yeah,
this web. Yeah,
yeah, makes it a really beautiful thing.
and
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
and it's coming. Yeah, I'm really excited actually for the next single
The
that's coming. Of course, the first one was just released.
pillar, of
Some
course,
Pillars.
is
Next
immense.
one,
I
yeah,
really,
next one is
yeah.
going to be Kolga.
Cool.
Also
Oh my God,
beautiful.
it's so touching. I was telling you before we started the interview, the people, I was listening to them and I felt like a warmth here, but like kind of a little bit not releasing, but like going through. So I was still feeling deep the emotion, intense the emotion, and then maybe with the following song they release. That's beautiful. I'm happy about
Yeah,
this.
I'm very excited about that too, because of course, with the first reception of Stone Pillars has been amazing. Like,
Yes,
we are a week in, and I couldn't be more like happy for how it was received, especially doing like the first single with an English performed song. But the second one called that has like the Nordic language. And so I think that's also good to touch base there again
Yeah.
and see how we work with this material. And
Of
yeah,
course.
it's going to be exciting. And then after that, of course, May 24th, the full album comes out.
We have to, of
30
course.
yeah, 78 minutes. So like it's a big piece of music.
But it's a big journey.
I was lucky it fitted on 2 LPs. Like it was,
Essential,
you know,
because of course it's gonna, of course, like every, let's say nowadays works full length is gonna be released in all the platforms, so digital release is everywhere kind of.
Yeah.
But about the physical copy, so this beautiful version, I mean, golden, it's beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm so happy to work with Svart Records for this, the label from Finland.
Yeah. Interview some artists from them. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, they are amazing people, a wonderful team. We really work well together. And yeah, I just really click with the Finns in general. And it's like, I was very happy that Svart, yeah, took it on them to say, let's work with you and do this album justice, you know, make it also like a really pretty physical format to say,
yeah,
do
because
the proper artwork and
as
color.
well, like, you want to have a beautiful sound, but as well it's always, you know, something that you hold in your hand. You put it in your vinyl readers. You put it it's gonna be as well in CD or only in the DLP. So
we will also have beautiful digipags. Digipags are like not the jewel cases. I don't like that plastic format. So it's going to be beautiful digipag with gold foil for the first prints. And so yeah, of course, a lot of people nowadays consume music just digitally, but I really want it for the people who still appreciate physical products to have something that is actually very nice, you know.
It's beautiful. I mean, at least when I drive my car, I have all CDs when I was in my 20s. So I think people have to, and I am not only the only one. We should as well update, you know. So maybe driving, we put something else instead all the time of putting Spotify. That you have issues on with that. You can have that too.
Yeah.
Or all around for when you're walking. But like imagine just a drive in the car with your album close to the sea or in the mountain street. I mean, you know that I just want to do basics, and that's the perfect thing. Or just laying in the beach and just or being in your house, meditation, because this is well an amazing tool for meditating too. Just closing your eyes, it does all by itself, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely not a subscription-based situation if you own a product, and it's also, you know, we know this. It's not even meant as advertising, but it's actually the best way to support artists nowadays.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was saying this. Yeah, I said that.
So it makes, it keeps us actually able to keep doing this.
Exactly. I said that. Yeah, because you
a lot of promoting that. Yeah.
You met a lot of effort for making the music, going throughout all the travel that you did, recording all the studio session, and plus all the material to everything that going in a physical copy of everything. Could be cassette, tape, vinyl, all CD. It takes a lot of work from musician to put it there, and it's good to support throughout as well. You know, digital, which is not so much expensive, but sometimes people up and I saw complain about CDB 30 or 35 euros, 40 euros. When come on, it's a minute. How many times do we go out and spend money in eat stupid things for just, I don't know, just 50 cents buy to just one night of drinking? That's for example. And it's important. And for one night, if we stay home and we took something that really helped, it's important. And thank you for mentioning that. It's important.
It is. And I think that really is the thing for like all artists out there. It's, again, this is not about me. This is just like how the music industry has developed. And, you know, even though physical products, they're not the priority of everything anymore. But I think then if you offer it, let's make it pretty. Let's also give some more insight in the booklet. you
Yeah,
know, and that's also why how the record labels, you know, are still able to
yeah,
exist, and the artist itself. So yeah,
yeah,
that's part of it. I couldn't be happier to offer that with Svart Records together,
yeah.
Saula, and yeah, I think new cycles are starting up again, you know, but
Of course,
we are still
in the
now we
process,
are in the process of
celebrating. You need to celebrate.
sharing Saula with the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Course,
yeah.
thinking about like, of course, there is the beautiful. I mean, the picture of you is beautiful. You're in the photos. You look beautiful, like ethereal. But I'm all about the artwork of Saula, and who is the one behind all the artwork of Saula?
I worked with a beautiful painter, Marcena Ablech. Actually started working with her already for a single called Hevering I released in 2022. And she just captured something very beautiful. And what I really, really appreciate about it is that it's all made by hand. These are like real paintings.
So
And
that's
so
yeah,
I
that's
really want to support the other artists that also still work with like authentic materials. Like it really fits together with the way I create music as well.
yeah.
It's okay, let's have these old instruments. Let's then also work with people who actually paint by hand. And also the font work is done by a really dear friend of mine from Halfdan Skriva or Halfdan Tattoo, and he's just amazing. And I've seen the fonts and letterwork come to life. Actually, just here at home in my living room, we spent 2 days and 3 nights just working with this ink on
So
paper. It was so beautiful. Like this is also
I'm
craftsmanship, and so I think that's also important to support. I mean, there are other avenues. We should avoid the AI topic maybe for this interview because that's lengthy. But
that's for another time when we do
yeah,
like a
I will say I really want to support artists of other
yeah.
disciplines as well.
That's
So
important because
yeah,
you feel the truth about it. So
and
as
work
well,
together. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
As well
exactly.
in your let's say in Saula there is everything
Mhm.
from the like the small character in the small font. So let's say from the artwork, from the composing, everything it's true and it
Mhm.
has energies inside it. So
Yeah,
but and
yeah.
yeah, I mean
It's what
you
we've been doing all this
yeah,
time and keep doing, I guess. And
but
it's
you
something
think
we
that
cannot
yeah.
not do. Yeah,
And you
yeah.
think that from of course because like of course that let's say the main component is always the northern one, the Nordic one. But you think in your own, I mean, opinion, there's something new about Kati Rán today in this music that you previously job.
You mean with this album compared to
Yeah,
previous releases? I
yeah,
think.
just some new thing that you can make things or personal. It can be personal, can be
Yeah.
even the sound.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a lot of new developments when it comes to just expanding your knowledge of
Yeah,
technical audio production, but also I think one of the key components I learned having, you know, crafted on these
yeah,
songs a good while was from working together with Yanni Peru, who had almost the opposite approach and character of sorts to say, okay, but maybe first, you know, let go or like first create like without thinking a
okay,
piece like a new melody for a hook or something, and then maybe fill it in with lyrics that will fit there. And so that's a very technical aspect of
that's
writing songs and producing songs.
a
But I
change.
think that was a really good eye opener, and actually has also allowed me to um, free up more creative space in myself and less inner critic, you know. And I think that is something I will take with me into the future for sure. And thematically wise, I love the Nordic countries. I love the material. I've really dug through it in the last 9 years. So, but I also feel, who knows? Like it's a big
Yeah,
world out there.
I mean,
Uh,
you
I
are part
might, I might, you know, just let go a little bit of being
North.
necessarily based on Nordic folklore, because I think also that even though it's been like the pillar of a lot of my releases, should never become a constraint for what you do.
Of
And
course.
so I think what we see on the new album SÁLA is we do see some first glimpses of that. So we have some other influences on the album, and also I perform in English a few times, you know.
And that's as well, like it was like a bold choice, but that's beautiful because it's a kind of showing this is me, Kati, today. This is me, different. It's always Kati, but just like a little bit experimenting, because of course not everyone understand maybe of course the northern language, and maybe don't have the lyrics, so you might like really approachable choosing Stone Pillars for single, and it's
exactly,
and especially like the preview, like you know the preview for that you can share in the social media of Stone Pillar, that's fire. It's so fitting for the song and everything, and came this energy from the Iceland. You can perceive that. So I think that for my if I should make some reviews, let's say that one of the new, the one I say theme, but new essence is this shifting towards a little bit more, because of course Iceland is always a country, a northern country, but it has a different vibe from the main land of the northern country. It has these still primitive places, and it has this, you know, this landscape that changes from volcanoes, from the sea, and you can feel this, like even the warmth of the volcano in SÁLA, Stone Pillar too.
There's a lot of there's actually Stone Pillars has a lot of fire elements or life energy,
itself,
creational energy in there, creational forces. So it's beautiful.
So just for sense, so let's say to the people, they can pre-order already the album. It's the pre-order are open.
Yes, they can. And also I learned pre-saving. This is something to share also with the community. It's kind of important to do pre-saves nowadays for the artists as well. If you are not able to or are not really into physical format, the best way to support an artist is to actually pre-save the album, because it's a way for digital streaming services to register if there's interest in a new release, and that's kind of important to be
indeed
people's release radars and stuff. And so this is why you actually see on a lot of artist pages online, you see nowadays pre-saves. I remember 2-3 years ago you didn't see that much.
No, there was only that pre-order maybe.
But you can pre-save it, and what it basically does is that on the day of the release you don't need to remind yourself that the album is out, but your streaming service of your choice will remind you, hey, the new album of Kati is out. So that's all it does, but it also is a metric for seeing how anticipated is a certain album, and that will help the artist.
That's important. That's so we have, let's say, the pre-saving, the pre-order, the pre-order, and we have a lot
all open.
So for anyone, just can go, and they can find it, of course, in your website, and I think as well the label website, Bandcamp.
Yes, and there's so much pages, actually, digital pages. My new website is up.
I saw it.
KatiRán.com. We have even a newsletter going on now, so I'm actually very happy to have also this what you call digital professionalization, and I should thank my all-female promoters team for that, because they lined that up beautifully for me. So no, but it's there's a lot coming, and for SÁLA, 24th of May is the day.
And so there will be, like I said, the new single coming up as well. There's as well somewhere all around. Did you thought about some video clip shooting, music video shooting?
Yeah, we have a beautiful. I can't spoil that yet for you, but we will see in the coming weeks. We will see something being prepared for the second single. With an artistic designer, not a videographer. That I can say. It's not a videographer, but it's someone who works with real art by hand as well. So.
That's amazing. So we can have that. Yeah, because your video clips were, I mean, I remember Surin, it was enchanting. It's enchanting. You can see by yourself the views that you got. So that already speaks by itself. So what can I say, Kati? It was really, really, really an honor to have with me my favorite moon sister, and I wish you, I mean, I know I don't have to wish you that this that SÁLA will really change as well lives and change people in the core. Looking forward to their release, and after the release, maybe we can meet in somewhere and doing a really physical interview, talking about that, having some more coffee or some beer or whatever we want to have in a
Yeah,
night
definitely.
full
Yeah.
moon. We need a full moon.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's the thing, right? We have going on for the full moon,
And
the moon sisters thing with
don't forget our shirt. I have still to buy the shirt.
Yeah, no, but I look forward to meet you
Yeah.
too on the road, and it's been really, really lovely being back here with you
You're
again,
always welcome.
and all the best for Poison Rock as well. Like
For you
keep
too.
going. Yeah.
And I'm so happy to hear new music from you, and I'm gonna go to listen again. And I really to suggest to people that are new to Kati Rán. We we have one first Kati Rán interview of 2 years ago, so they get to know your background, personal musical background better, because it was more for SÁLA. But I'm so happy that you're back in the music scene, and hope to see you soon live as well in the main stage, because you deserve to play live as well. I mean, we need to see you play live, and people think are demanding that as well. And I'm so happy to see you. And like every interview we do together, you leave this amazing calmness inside. It's
Good.
amazing.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
all
a
right.
huge hug and a kiss, Kati. See you all around in our channel. In our channel.
Thanks for having
Pleasure.
me. It's been a pleasure. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
I see a tree fall, an evening crow crows, ancestors driven, one lives up to dead. Titles burn flesh, left the curse from them.